Okay, let's just dive right into this. You know that feeling when you look back at a 2 month summer break and realize you've got absolutely nothing to show for it? Yeah, we've all been there. But in today's explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to flip that script. We're breaking down a very specific 60-day summer transformation blueprint. It's designed to take you from wherever you're sitting right now to an entirely new level. And the best part? The creator of this blueprint actually lived it. He went from being this unconfident kid who mumbled and struggled to make friends to building a massive, fiercely loyal community, totally upgrading his communication skills, and even leveling up his finances to the point of buying a Mercedes-Benz. So this isn't just some fluffy theory, it's a real-world, tested framework. Summer is literally the ultimate distraction-free window for reinvention. Most people are just going to spend this time binge-watching some incomplete TV series, sleeping till noon, or just gossiping. But if you dedicate these 60 days to leveling up your personality, you can actually beat 99% of people. Just picture this specific scenario for a second. Imagine stepping onto a stage at a school or college event right before summer break. You're feeling unpolished, you totally bomb the performance, and you just get that polite, kind of awkward applause. Now, picture scenario two. You disappear for the summer, apply this exact blueprint, and walk back onto that very same stage 2 months later. But this time, because you've dialed in your voice modulation and your physical presence, you get a roaring standing ovation. That dramatic night and day shift, that's exactly what this 60-day window makes possible. So how do we get there? This blueprint is broken down into a 5-chapter roadmap. Number 1, the power of daily journaling. 2, building physical discipline. 3, training your mind. 4, changing your environment. And 5, learning future-proof skills. Let's kick things off with step 1, the inner foundation, which is all about the power of daily journaling. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Journaling sounds like a boring chore, right? But it's actually absolutely crucial. It's the essential first step to taking all those chaotic thoughts in your head and organizing them so you can explicitly map out your weaknesses. This blueprint gives us a really specific 4-step daily feedback loop that seriously only takes about 5 to 10 minutes. First, you just write down exactly how much time you utilized today versus how much time you completely wasted. Second, jot down your daily learnings, like what new thing did you actually discover today? Third is emotional control. If someone disrespected you, how did you react? If they respected you, how did you reply? Tracking this builds some incredibly high emotional intelligence over time. And fourth, practice gratitude. There's this old story about a man who was crying because his shoes were torn right up until the moment he met a man who had no feet. You write down what you're grateful for, no matter how tiny it seems, just to keep your perspective totally grounded. And what's really fascinating here is that there's hard scientific data backing this up. Writing down your thoughts literally upgrades your reality. The American Psychological Association states that journaling significantly reduces stress and actively boosts your mental clarity. On top of that, a study from the University of Rochester Medical College shows it improves emotional regulation, problem-solving skills, and self-awareness. So yeah, it's not just a cute little diary. It's a proven psychological tool giving you real-time feedback on your own life. All right, moving right along to step 2, the physical foundation, focusing on building physical discipline. Here's the thing. You really can't expect your brain to perform at its absolute peak if the vessel carrying it is completely neglected. This isn't just about looking good, it's the foundational base for a sharp, functional mind. To put that into perspective, the World Health Organization found that engaging in regular physical activity decreases anxiety symptoms by a massive 20 to 30%. Literally, every single time you move your body, your brain performs better. The secret sauce here is choosing consistency over complexity. Whether you join a gym, start running, or take advantage of the summer heat and hit up some swimming classes, just pick an activity you know you can stick with. Physical discipline naturally levels out hormonal imbalances and gives your daily energy a massive boost. The creator actually notes his own physical transformation. He went from looking like a round ladu, you know, that spherical Indian sweet, to building the broad-shouldered, solid posture of a pyramid. Building that kind of undeniable physical presence, it commands respect before you even open your mouth. Okay, that brings us to step 3, the intellectual foundation, or training your mind. Because let's be honest, building a great physical body is really only half the equation. Have you ever heard the term sapiosexual? It describes someone who finds high intelligence, sharp decision-making, and emotional self-control incredibly attractive, often way more so than physical looks. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why intellect matters so much. The source shares a super relatable anecdote about a college friend. She constantly rejected this guy who was trying to win her over by getting incredibly buff.
I mean, even after 6 months of intense, hardcore gym training, she just was not interested. Why? Because she wasn't attracted to muscles. She was attracted to a sharp mind, a guy who knew how to handle complex situations, carry himself well, and hold an actual intelligent conversation.
So, the obvious question is, how do you build that kind of attractive, sharp intellect? The answer is intentional reading. A fascinating study by the National Endowment of Arts shows that regular reading dramatically improves both your concentration and your analytical thinking. Seriously, just 20 to 30 minutes of intentional reading a day completely expands your mental dimensions. It forces your brain to step outside of its usual comfy little thinking patterns, and it calms your mind down, literally pulling you away from that endless, anxiety-inducing doom scroll on social media. Now, you basically have three main categories to choose from for this intentional reading. You can dive into self-growth and biographies, you could actually get a head start on your academic syllabus material, or you can grab some skill-based books focusing on stuff like finance, trading, or coding. The real trick here, though, don't try to start everything at once. Quality over quantity. Just pick one book, read it consistently for 20 minutes a day, and let those compounding effects do the heavy lifting for you. Let's transition over to step 4, the external foundation, which is all about changing your environment. You absolutely have to break the toxic cycle of just staying locked in your comfortable bedroom all summer, binging Netflix. That kind of isolation is a fast track straight to loneliness and stagnation. As the blueprint so perfectly puts it, experience makes you ready for the world, and that experience is found outside your doorstep. And look, this doesn't mean you need to book some crazy expensive foreign vacation. It can be as simple as going to visit your grandparents. Spending time with them gives you direct access to 50 to 80 years of real-life wisdom, practical moral values, and these incredibly grounded perspectives that absolutely no explainer or self-help book is ever going to teach you. And again, this isn't just anecdotal, it's backed by some solid research. A study out of Columbia Business School found that traveling and experiencing new environments significantly increases your brain's problem-solving ability. It's like a workout for your mind. When you go to a new place, whether that's the mountains, a beach, or honestly just a different relative's house across town, your brain is forced to actively observe and decode new patterns. And that active decoding process is exactly what builds true, real-world life experience. Now, this whole concept of environmental exposure applies directly to your career and education too. The source specifically highlights how crucial it is to place yourself in high-exposure educational ecosystems, pointing to GLA University as a really prime example. Just think about the sheer impact of being in an environment that boasts an 86% campus placement rate, super strong average packages around 6.3 LPA, and top placements reaching a massive 60 LPA at companies like Microsoft. When you're constantly surrounded by that kind of real-world learning, smaller batch sizes, and industry-sponsored hackathons, you are literally forced to adapt and solve practical problems. It just goes to show that your environment actively accelerates your growth. And that brings us to our final pillar, Step 5, the future-proof foundation, focusing on learning future-proof skills. Okay, here is a really fascinating fact for you. It takes an average of 45 to 60 days to truly master the basics of a high ROI skill. Think about that. That is the exact length of a standard, uninterrupted summer break. So the absolutely crucial point here is to just choose one of these highly lucrative skills and master it. You could focus on communication and voice modulation, learning exactly when to pause for maximum impact. You could dive into high-level video editing, maybe messing around with 3D or After Effects. You might want to explore AI, coding, or prompt engineering. Or maybe you focus on writing, learning how to craft killer scripts, professional emails, or viral LinkedIn posts. You could even master public speaking and storytelling. The best part? You do not need to do all of them. You just need to pick one. Polish it for 60 days, and I promise you, you will walk out of the summer with a massive, unfair advantage over your peers. Which brings us to the end of our blueprint, and honestly, a pretty serious question. You know that old saying, right? The beautiful lotus flower only blooms in the mud. So looking ahead at these next 60 days, will you be the lotus that actually puts in the work and blooms? Or will you just remain the mud, gossiping and letting time slip away? You've got the roadmap right in front of you now. Use your journal to map your weaknesses, build up that physical and mental strength, step the heck out of your comfortable room, and master just one future-proof skill. Cut out the distractions, put in the work in total silence, and shock the world when vacation ends. The choice is entirely yours.